Can we experience the world through AI, and can it tell us about human experiences when we can't experience them for ourselves? Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. I am Donnie, and along with my wife Aubrey, we are two Americans currently living in Germany with our baby, sharing all of our experiences living and traveling throughout Europe. We've all been hearing a lot about AI and specifically ChatGPT lately. I hear a lot of different things about how this is threatening jobs, how amazing it is, how you can ask it anything and it will give you brilliant answers, or at least answers. Now, I make a living online sharing my experiences as an American living in Germany to those that maybe wonder what it is like to live in Germany, or to Germans that are interested in knowing maybe what that experience is like for someone who finds their country and culture foreign. So I wondered, will AI maybe become a thing that could even, I don't know, replace people like me online? Can people use AI to find out what it is like living in Germany from an American perspective? Or could it even give them that experience as if they are living there and experiencing a different culture themselves? Or maybe I just wondered if ChatGPT can lighten my workload and write scripts for videos for me. Well, to answer my questions and to have my curiosity quenched, I asked ChatGPT to write a script of a video about culture shocks experienced by Americans living in Germany to see just how accurate it was compared to my personal, real, human experiences as an American living in Germany. So the next segment of this video is going to be all written by AI, accompanied by my reaction to it to let you know just how accurate ChatGPT got it. And that's exactly what ChatGPT and I am going to talk about today in our video. From Berlin to the Bay, a clash of cultural ways. Living in a foreign country can be an exciting and transformative experience. Today, we're going to explore what it's like for an American to live in Germany. Germany is a country with a rich history, vibrant culture, and a strong economy. But what's it like for someone from America to call it home? Hi, I'm Emily. I'm from the United States, and I've been living in Germany for the past 2 years. What the heck? No, let's try a different script. Moving to a new country can be an exciting yet overwhelming experience, especially when it comes to adjusting to a new culture. For Americans moving to Germany, there are a few cultural differences that may come as a surprise. Here are the top 5 culture shocks for Americans living in Germany. Grocery shopping in Germany can be quite the experience. One of the first things Americans might notice is that plastic bags aren't typically offered at checkout. Instead, customers bring their own bags or purchase reusable ones. Additionally, most grocery stores charge a deposit for the use of a shopping cart. So don't forget to bring a €1 coin or risk having to carry your groceries out by hand. So this first section, grocery stores. I think it nailed it in the fact that grocery stores are definitely a classic thing that Americans are shocked by whenever they come to Germany. However, I agree with some of the things that this AI picked up on in terms of our culture shocks, but there was some of the more important things that it left out. Definitely in the US, you're always given plastic bags or paper bags. It didn't mention the paper bags. A lot of places you get the choice, and it does nail that you do not have to bring reusable bags in most places in the US. There are a lot of places in the US where they have banned these bags and you do have to bring reusable bags. So that's not true for every American, but definitely in Germany, we did have to get used to bringing reusable bags because we come from a place that typically uses plastic bags. So that was a little bit of a culture shock, but got used to it fairly quickly. And another thing that this talks about is the deposit for a shopping cart. I think that's a little bit misleading in how the AI perceives it or is describing it, at least, because you're not really giving a deposit for the shopping cart. The coin more so is just like a key to get a shopping cart. And this is, I guess, to encourage people to return the carts when they're done with it. And that's kind of why in the US you often have parking lots of grocery stores or shopping centers with kind of grocery carts in random places across the parking lot, because people, rather than being bothered to return the cart, they just kind of leave them where they loaded up their groceries, and then it becomes somebody's job at the grocery store to go and collect all the shopping carts. But there are some stores in the US, like Aldi has moved into the US, and they do have this system. So some Americans are starting to kind of get used to this idea of having to use a coin to get the carts. I think the thing that AI missed in this section primarily is the one thing that Americans always talk about, and that is the speed of the checkout lines. German grocery stores being way faster and not having somebody bag for you, versus in the US where, like I just recently talked about in a reverse culture shocks video, it's way slower and you do have somebody bagging your groceries for you, generally speaking. Germans are known for their love of rules and order. One example of this is the concept of quiet hours. Typically, these hours are between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., during which loud noises or music are discouraged. So if you're used to blasting your music at all hours of the night, you might have to adjust your habits. I don't necessarily think that it's the fact that being quiet at night is the shock, because generally speaking in the US also, you have to kind of keep it quiet in the night. And if you are having some kind of loud party, it's not uncommon for like neighbors to call the cops to come and tell you to quiet down. And I think that ChatGPT focused on the nighttime quiet hours, when I think the more shocking aspect for Americans are the quiet on Sundays in Germany, and not being able to do things like vacuuming if you live in an apartment building and it might disturb others' peace, or lawn mowing. You can't do lawn mowing on Sunday because it causes too much noise, or different things like that. And that is a bigger shock for me than the nighttime. And also Aubrey and I really aren't, I guess, party animals, so nighttime quiet is not a big deal for us. Real quick, I wanted to remind you guys that a link to our merch shop is in the description below, and I also wanted to give a big shout out to our patrons for supporting our channel. I'm so appreciative of you all, and if you guys would like to know more ways that you can support our channel, a link to our Patreon is in the description below, but also hitting that like and subscribe button goes a super long way, so thanks so much for doing that. While in the US it's customary to tip your waiter or waitress, this isn't necessarily the case in Germany. Tipping is appreciated, but it's not mandatory. In fact, service charges are often included in the bill, so make sure to check before leaving an additional tip. Tipping is such an awkward thing for me in Germany because of exactly what it's saying. We're super used to tipping in the US, and it's just very common that 15% generally is going to be the minimum that you leave for a tip, but you can go up from there. But in Germany, tipping isn't mandatory, but it's commonly done. But if you do tip, typically you're just kind of rounding up. So for example, if your bill is like €1.80, you would just pay €2, and that 20 cents would kind of be the extra tip. But also, like, if you don't do that, like 10% is kind of like as high as you would normally go. But still, I think it is so ingrained in me that it feels so wrong and awkward to not do that in Germany. And so I often find myself questioning, am I doing the right thing by either not leaving a tip or only tipping like maximum 10%? However, one thing that ChatGPT mentioned in this section was that service charges are typically added to the bills in Germany. So you might want to check that before tipping. And I'll ask you guys, is that true? I honestly, like, when I'm thinking about all the bills I've ever had in Germany, maybe I've had a service charge added to a bill. I can't even think of a time. So I don't know if that's actually true. So let me know in the comments. One, do you tip? How much do you tip? In what situations would you not tip? And also, have you ever seen service charges on a receipt in Germany? I don't know that I have. One of the most noticeable differences is the German approach to punctuality. Germans place a high value on being on time, and being late is considered rude. Whether it's for work or social events, being punctual is expected. So don't be surprised if your German friends arrive exactly on time. This, honestly, I don't think has been a big culture shock for us. And I think for a couple of reasons. One, I don't know that Germans and Americans are actually that different. I do generally think that Americans are maybe not always as punctual as Germans, but also I don't think that I personally, in our personal experiences and interactions with Germans, found Germans to be incredibly punctual. You know, they're not showing up to things super late, but it's not like every single time we've ever hung out with a German, they are always there down to the second on time. But even more so than that, there's the DB issue. And DB, the Deutsche Bahn, the German train system, is notorious. And we've talked about this in videos before for being late and delayed. And that really gives you a different impression of German punctuality. And I used to take the train every single day to the next city over to go to German classes, and there were so many days that it was either late or just never showed up. And that definitely has kind of, I guess, warped my perspective of German punctuality. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you find Germans to be overly punctual compared to, I guess, Americans or other cultures? Definitely punctual, but just not in the extreme I expected. Lastly, Americans might find the German bureaucracy a bit overwhelming. Whether it's applying for a visa, getting a driver's license, or registering for healthcare, there can be a lot of paperwork and processes to follow. It's important to be patient and persistent, and don't be afraid to ask for help when needed. Yes, definitely ChatGPT nailed the German bureaucracy, and that is a classic stereotype of Germany as well. But every time you want to do anything in Germany, definitely there's long lists of rules and processes of doing things the right way, and lots of paperwork and mailing things. And there's very, very few things in which you can get things done quickly and you can get things done efficiently. ChatGPT definitely got it right. That is one of the big culture shocks. While adjusting to a new culture can be challenging, it can also be a rewarding experience. By being open-minded and embracing the differences, Americans living in Germany can gain a new perspective and appreciation of their adoptive home. But at the beginning of this video, ChatGPT wrote that these were the top 5 culture shocks that Americans experience in Germany. I don't think these are the top 5 culture shocks. I think some of these may just be culture shocks. So, can you experience another culture through AI at this point? I don't know. I don't think it nailed it. So you should subscribe and get a real human experience. To see who made it this far into the video, the random question of the week is, do you still use Facebook? Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. Be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and I will see you in our next video. This is going to be thumbnails plus an additional reaction to point number 3 tipping. However, one thing that this section mentioned was, one thing that ChatGPT mentioned in this section